Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox, on this dark Wednesday morning. The sun hasn't come up yet. I'm just up that early. Oh, woe is me. But already I've been up, we've had a look at some stories. I've got a whole wide range of stories today, all different subjects. There's a couple on the COVID. We're going to have a look at them because of the inquiry. There's some amusing ones. There's some sort of economic ones. All sorts. It's again a broad range, a broad spectrum of subjects, and I hope that some of them will interest you enough that you'll hit the subscribe button. We're getting ever so close now to that magic 10,000 subscribers. So if you are up at 'em and in the mood, do hit the subscribe button and also hit the like button. That massively helps. Now, I did do a quick flash video yesterday evening showing how Nicola Sturgeon has been caught out in yet another lie when she said that the only communications she ever did on WhatsApp were sort of unimportant ones. There were no decision makings or anything like that. There was no official data or anything like that. This is, of course, after telling us first that she didn't use WhatsApp at all. And now the lie has changed again. We were talking about Devi Sridhar, who sent important data, official data, to Sturgeon via Sturgeon's personal email account, quite outside the normal rules because there is no accountability. Let's take a look. So what has Nicola Sturgeon got to hide? Well, quite a lot, I think we all agree. There's all sorts of shadiness about that woman. She is one of the most secretive, divisive, horrible people who never wants the truth to come out because it will put her in a bad light. Go figure. XFM told Devi Sridhar to send COVID advice to a private email account. Why a private one? Why not her official one? Presumably it's because the official one is stored, it's kept, and that advice may have gone against what Sturgeon was doing. It may have said to Sturgeon, this is the wrong thing, you're doing it wrongly. She does not want that coming out because she had her agenda. She wanted to weaponise and use COVID for her own benefit, and having an expert in the field tell her something else wouldn't have done at all. So therefore, send it to a private account. It's unaccountable. I can read it, make the changes, and then we can agree that you'll send me something else through the official channels that will go on the record. That is what appears to be the case. We can't say for sure because we haven't seen them all, but it's there. The former First Minister reassured the public health expert not to worry about breaking protocol. Oh, it's okay. You can break the rules. I'm in charge. I'll make sure you're not in trouble. No, the rules are there for a reason. And Sridhar should have said, look, I'm uncomfortable with this. These are the rules. I will send it to you, but I will send it to you via your official channel. Or what she could have done, and what would have been the correct thing, would be to send it to Cranky's private email address, but blind CC'd it to her official address as well. That would have been a better way of dealing with it. It's what I would have done. Anyway, it was sent to her SNP, her private SNP account, and that is not subjected to the same freedom of information laws as her Scottish Government one, because of course it isn't. And that, of course, is why they're doing it. They don't want the truth out there. They want nothing on the record because everything has to be hidden, because they know that they're up to no good. Why else would you hide this? If what they were doing was right and proper, they would have no reason at all to hide anything. And the very fact that they're hiding it shows that it isn't right or proper. Nicola Sturgeon has been caught up in yet another secrecy scandal, and we can call that lie. After it was revealed, she told health advisor Devi Sridhar to send her COVID advice to her private email in an astonishing revelation. The former First Minister was previously accused of using her SNP account to conduct government business, as it does not fall under the same FOI rules as her official account. And that, of course, is why they're doing it. They don't want access. They've got to keep it covered. It's now been revealed during the UK COVID inquiry that she urged Ms Sridhar to send her information about how to manage an outbreak privately before supplying her SNP email address. She did add the note that it could be sent through official means to her First Minister account. The public health expert even told Ms Sturgeon that she was concerned about breaking protocol, but the ex-SNP leader told her that tackling COVID-19 was more important. So what she's saying is, in her view, tackling this was more important than obeying the rules. No, it isn't. And the rules are there for a reason. You cannot just say, oh, well, it's okay, I'll murder someone because it's more important that I murder someone because it's COVID. You know, COVID's more important than any... Because where do you draw the line at what rules you're not going to break? Is that enough? Is that enough? You know, would you break this rule? Would you break this rule? How far? How far would you go? Messages on X between the pair in June 2020 show that the professor said that she'd drafted a note for the chief medical officer on key steps to managing the outbreak in Scotland looking forward. She said, I'm happy to share a draft with you, but I don't want to overstep or break protocol. And then the First Minister responded, that would be very helpful. Don't worry about protocol. Tackling the virus is more important than that, and I'll handle any issues on from that front. In other words, it doesn't matter. I'll cover it up. I'll make sure nothing gets done. I'm far too important. Nobody will accuse me of breaking the law. I'm untouchable, is what she's saying. The contempt for the rules, the contempt for the government, the contempt for the parliament, but most of all, the contempt for people. She's forcing these rules and, you know, upholding these rules that other people have to follow stringently, while she herself is happy to break the rules that are imposed because it's Nicola Sturgeon. She sits above all of us. She is some great demigod of the Caledonian race. Look at me. Behold your leader. Behold your God. Bow down and praise the glorious Nicola, the breaker of rules. She is so arrogant. Anyway, the under-fire politician then said that she could send the correspondence privately and provided an SNP email address for this purpose. She's previously been accused of using this inbox to receive urgent government business, and as it does not fall under the same freedom of information rules, meaning she can freely delete messages, which of course she does. It's got to be a crime. It's got to be made a very serious crime, holding many, many years of jail. And not at judge's discretion. There must be a minimum jail sentence that a judge cannot go below. I would suggest 10 years. The new revelation has sparked a discussion that she may have used it more frequently than she claimed. Scottish Tory MSP Donald Cameron pointed out that she'd asked for a direct question about whether she'd used a private or party email address to conduct Scottish government back in 2019. And he was told that the government is completely subject to freedom of information legislation and we would be covered by that. Rightly or wrongly, most of my conduct of government business is on paper. I receive paper boxes, not email boxes, and I make handwritten notes. Bullshit. Bullshit of the highest order. What a load of bollocks springs lightly from that woman's gash of a mouth. Anyway, Miss Riddar also admitted that she often took part in phone calls with Miss Sturgeon, but that she herself had not kept records of them. It's unknown if they were minuted by the Scottish Government, but previous FOI attempts to access this have been rejected on the grounds that it might cause trouble for the glorious Nicola. So, of course, they've got to hide and cover up everything. She forgets that the next government coming in will be able to open all this up and maybe open her up for prosecution. And I would love to see her sitting there in a cell with Bubba. Anyway, she added they were not quite casual, but they discussed research papers and questioning ideas. She said sometimes this is where the comment about the personal trainer came in, about mental health, how are you coping, this is really difficult. And that's when I talked about exercise. Miss Sturgeon also asked about what countries around the world were doing and whether it was working. These are things that should be on official emails. They should not, none of this, nothing that woman should do. As head of government, she should never, ever be using SNP addresses or personal emails for anything other than party matters. This is governmental. It's got to be made a crime. She's got to go to prison. Scottish Tory Chairman Craig Hoy called the personal email revelation astonishing and described it as another shameful attempt to evade scrutiny. Because, of course, she doesn't want to be scrutinised. If she was weighed, she'd be found wanting. She is an obnoxious human being. She's a psychopath, and she knew full well what she was doing at every stage of what she was doing. She needs a full investigation and she needs to go to jail. And I do hope that this police investigation into the corporate homicide does come back and we can manage to get this woman into jail for the rest of her life. But in the interim, we can get her into jail for contempt of court, and we can get her into jail for the freedom of information and the information handling. There's all sorts of different things, as well as perversion of the course of justice. There's many things that this woman can be tried for and imprisoned for, and it needs to happen. And I am coming up. Everything about Sturgeon is snide, sneaky, secretive. She is a nasty, inhuman woman. She knows full well. She takes advantage of every situation. She's a psychopath, a sociopath. There is nothing redeeming about her. She corrupts everything around her. Nothing around her is good. She must walk past a flower shop and every flower in it withers and dies. She just gives this air of malevolence. She's a bloody good politician, though. I've got to give her that. And the fact is, she's that good, she's likely to get away with whatever she's going to get away with, including up to and possibly including mass murder. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But isn't it a shame? But there's certainly got to be something that we can put her in prison for and make sure it's a long time. And I'd love to see the prison pictures, her sitting in a cell, weeping at her own loss. Anyway, I'll leave that little image in your head of her in that cell, you know, in the little orange suit. Orange is the new Sturgeon. And we'll move on to the next video. So thank you very much for watching this one. Do please hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment. Please share the video, and I will speak to you later. Bye.